Hi, Emma Bean. A little birdie told me that you got a very cool gift for Christmas from your mom this year. A Canadian-made chunky blanket loom. Very cool. Your mom also told me that she cannot wait to see the blankets that you create with all your creative spark. So why don't we start a project together today, okay? Let's build a chunky blanket scarf. I think that's a really good place to start. It's a small project. It'll just take one ball of yarn. Hopefully your mom picked some up for you, or she will soon. And we'll get a scarf made, okay? Let's check that out and see how that goes. Merry Christmas, Emma Bean. All right, Emma Bean, let's get this started. Here's a few things you're going to need. Your loom, of course. We're going to need a pair of scissors. We're going to need a lighter. Your mom's going to help you with the lighter. And then we're going to use one ball of this Bernat blanket bag. This is the yarn that we need, okay? So what you're going to do is hopefully you're going to reach into the insides of this yarn on both sides and you're going to find the beginning. If you can get it from here, that's perfect because it keeps the ball from rolling away on you. But if you can't, you have to use the outside. That's okay too. So let's see what we can do here. We just reach in, just start pulling, and there it is. There's the beginning. Perfect. All right, let's get this yarn. We're just going to put it on the other side of the loom away from us. Now, we talked about building a scarf, so we're not going to need this whole 5 foot of loom to build a scarf, all right? What we're going to do is we're going to use 24 pegs. So we're going to use 4 feet, 48 inches of this loom to make a scarf. So all we're going to do is we're going to count 24 pegs, and that's how big we're going to make our scarf. That's how long we're going to go. So you count too, and I'll count, all right? All right, right to here. That's where we're going to go to on my loom. Do you have your spot up? So that's how long our scarf will be. That's pretty good. All right, now let's come back to the very first peg right here. And we're going to have to cast onto this loom. So how we're going to do that is we're going to make a slip knot. So if you were to, I hope you're right-handed, that would make it life a lot easier. If you hold this yarn up just like this on your finger, and then take the short tail, cross it over the long tail, and make this ribbon, this awareness ribbon. Now, if I pinch right here in the center where they crisscross, just to hold it for now, okay? I'm gonna put my left hand there. I'm gonna reach my right hand through the back of the loop, and I'm gonna reach through and I'm gonna grab the long piece of yarn. And I'm going to pull that through. Let's do it one more time. So make the awareness symbol, the ribbon like this. I'm going to reach through the back with my right hand. And I'm going to grab the long piece of yarn, the piece that goes back to our ball. So I'm going to reach through, grab that long piece of yarn, and I'm going to pull it through that loop. Just like that, and make a new loop. All right, can you see that? That's called a slip knot. That might take some practice, so no worries. Let's do it one more time. Just pull it out. Hold it up in your fingers like this. We're going to crisscross the short piece over the long piece. Then I'm going to reach my fingers through the back. And I'm going to grab the long piece. And then I'm going to pull that long piece through the center. And then I'm just going to pull it up like this. And that's what makes a slip knot right here. All right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take that slip knot. And we're going to put that on our first peg. Right down here. So let's get my yarn out of the way. All right. Now here's my slip knot. And I'm going to put this on the first peg, and I'm going to put the short tail to my left, right here. Now you can see that's obviously way too big, right? It's way bigger than the peg. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take the long part of the yarn, I'm going to put my left fingers right here at the knot, and I'm just going to slide my fingers up, just like that. See how that's why they call it a slip knot, because it just slips along. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do every peg the same way, but close together. We wouldn't want to have a slip knot way out here. You'd have all this extra material, right? So we're going to put the slip knots right tight together. So what we're going to do, I like to take my yarn, and I describe it like a hill. I'll build a hill with the yarn, about as tall as the peg. Now I'm going to take that yarn, and I'm going to give it a counterclockwise twist, just a half twist, just like this. Now I'm going to reach through the back right here again and grab my long piece of yarn. So I'm going to reach through the back with my 2 fingers, and I'm going to use my right hand to help this yarn through that center hole. Make a new loop. And it's this new loop that's going on the next peg. And I'm going to cinch it up. I'm going to show you from a few different angles. Hang on. All right, the next angle. Small little hill. Just about as tall as your peg. Give that hill a counterclockwise twist. You can see I've got a loop here now. I'm going to reach through the back side of the loop with my 2 fingers so I can pinch the yarn. I'm going to take my long piece of yarn with my right hand. I'm just going to help it towards my left fingers right here. And I'm going to push it through the center and create a new loop. And it's this new loop that goes on the next peg. And then cinch it up. It's not really tight. It's just snug, okay? So make a hill. Give that hill a counterclockwise twist. Reach through the back. Grab your long piece of yarn. Help it through the center of that hole. Make a new loop, and it's this new loop that goes on the peg. Small hill, about as tall as your peg. Counterclockwise twist. Reach through the back. Grab your long piece of yarn and help it through the center. Right there. And it's that loop here that's going on the peg. You can see we're starting to make a braid here, a starting chain. All right, here's another angle, just so you can see it from a different perspective. Let's pull out some more yarn. Small hill, about as tall as the peg. Give that peg a counterclockwise twist. Reach through the back of that loop. Use your right hand to help this yarn through the center of that loop. And that's the loop we're going to drop on the peg. All right, let's keep going. We're going to do that for 24 pegs. Don't forget to give it that little cinch in between. That's what makes it nice and even. So build a hill, counterclockwise twist. Reach through the back with your 2 fingers. Use your right hand to help with the long piece of yarn towards your fingers and pull that through. Just like that. Drop that on the pegs. Little cinch. I know I make it look easy, but I've been doing this for a little while. So I should make it look easy if that's the case, right? Small hill, counterclockwise twist, reach through the back, grab the long piece of yarn, help it through, drop that one on your peg. Just a little piece of advice here when you're doing your blankets. When you go to cinch it up, I see some people wanting to cinch it up by wringing it back and forth like this. But the problem is that your knot ends up going sideways like this. And then when you're all done your blanket, you'll have all this extra material and you'll wonder why. So make sure it stays straight. And I like to just pinch right here beside this knot with my left hand and just give it a little pull with my right. Just enough to make it snug around the peg, all right? Let's keep going. I should have pulled out a bunch more yarn. A hill as tall as your peg, counterclockwise twist, reach through the back, pull that loop through, drop it on the peg. And don't forget, you can always pause. You can always rewind. You can catch up, watch it again, whatever you need to do. This isn't easy for anyone the first time. It isn't easy for anyone the first 10 times. So don't worry, you'll get good at this. I promise. And don't forget, we're going to do 24 pegs. Because that'll be the perfect length for a scarf. And I should mention, this is exactly how you would build a blanket, right? There's no difference between a scarf and a blanket. It's the exact same thing. Totally the same thing. Are you counting? How many pegs are you at? Oh, I just have to do one more, and then I'll be at 24 pegs. All right, so that's 24 pegs right there, my dear. All right, now what we're going to do next is we're going to take our yarn and we're going to move it to the other side of the board, all right? So just take your yarn, move everything over. We're going to bring our yarn between these two pegs. And now we're going to start working from the right back to the left. Now, the easy way to do this, and we'll just start with the very basic stitch, which is the knit stitch, is what we'll do is we'll take this loop right here, and this is where we're going to start. So you see this loop around the peg right here? I'm going to take that off the peg. And you see that hole right here in this loop that the peg makes? Right here where my finger is? That's where I'm going to make my next stitch. So I'm just going to take my yarn. I'm going to go through the back side of this stitch. And I'm just going to push it through with my fingers. And I'm going to pull a new loop. Do you see that new loop right here? This is what I'm putting back on the peg. So I move my old one forward, drop the new one on the peg. Just give it a little pull. It doesn't have to be really, really tight, just enough to make the yarn cinch around that peg. Now the next one, same thing. I'm going to take it off and see that hole right here that the peg leaves. That's where I'm going to make my next stitch. So same thing, I'm going to come through the back. I'm just going to push the yarn towards me, pull it a new loop, drop the old loop, and roll the new one on the peg. Give it a little pull. Keep going. Next one. Off the peg, through the center, pull a new loop, drop the old loop, roll the new one on the peg. Give it a little pull. Off, through, pull a new loop, take the old loop, drop it off the peg, roll the new one on the loom. Give it a little pull. Off, through, pull a new loop, drop the old loop, roll the new one on the peg. Give it a little pull. It's that little pull that makes your blanket consistent and perfect every time. So off the peg, through the loop, drop that new loop onto the peg. Off, through, pull a new loop, take that new loop, put it back on the peg. Give it a little pull. Just enough to tighten it up around the peg. Not a whole ton, just a little bit. You got that? Off. Go through the center, pull a new loop. Take that new loop, roll it onto the peg. Give it a little pull. Off. Through, pull a new loop, drop that new loop back on the peg. Give it a little pull. I'm going to give you a different angle here, okay? All right, another new angle. This is the next one I'm on. So I'm going to take that one off the peg, right there. And this spot right here on my thumb that's where I'm going to follow through with the yarn, the long piece of yarn, the working yarn right here. I'm just going to come up to my thumb. I'm going to push right through with my thumb, make a new loop on my right here. And this new loop is going to go on the peg. Just like that, give it a little pull. So it's off, through, create a new loop on your thumb, take that new loop, drop it onto the peg, little pull. Off, through, take that new loop that's on your thumb, drop it on the peg, give it a little pull. Off. See, it's on my left thumb. I'm going to use my yarn to push through my with my left thumb. Just follow that thumb through right here, and I'm going to pull a loop, and it ends up on my right thumb. I'm going to drop that back on the peg, give it a little pull. Off, through, create a new loop, take that new loop, drop it on the peg, give it a little pull. Off, through, take that new loop, put it right back on the peg, give it a little pull. Off, through, create a new loop, roll it forward onto the peg. Off, through, create a new loop, take that new loop, roll it onto the peg, give it a little pull. Don't forget the little pull in between every time. And it really is the first 2 rows that are the hardest. The starting chain and the first row are the hardest to get. So we're going to want to make sure that you're happy with those 2 before you move on, all right? Because you can always pull it out and start again. That's the great thing about this hobby. If you don't like it, you just pull it out and you start again. Off, go through the center, pull a new loop, take that new loop, put it back onto the peg, give it a little pull. Here we are at the end. Last peg. Off, go through, pull a new loop, take that new loop and put it onto the peg. Just roll it forward and give it a little pull. Now when I get to this end, I'm going to start working back to the right. So what I like to do is I like to take my ball of yarn and I like to move it towards my right. I like to work towards the yarn. That just kind of keeps it out of the way for me. All right, let's do this again. Same thing. This end loop comes off. Same stitch, it's the knit stitch. You're just going to go right through the center. You're going to create a new loop, and that new loop goes back on the peg. Give a little pull. Off, through, create a new loop, take that new loop, roll it onto the peg, give it a little pull. Off, through, roll it onto the peg, little pull. So what color's your scarf? Let me know. Put it in the comments, all right? I want to see some pictures too. Get your mom to email me some pictures. All right, let's slow it down again. Off. You see that hole where my thumb is? That's where we're going to go through. Take the yarn, put it on your left thumb, towards your left thumb. Push through with your left thumb and bring that yarn up into a new loop. This new loop right here is the one we're putting back on the peg. Little pull. Off, through, pull a new loop. Take that new loop, put it back on the peg, give a little pull. Off, through, make a new loop. Take that new loop, put it back on the peg, little pull. And I like to have the yarn on this side when I give it a pull, all right? Not over here, but on this side, on the top. The more you do the same every single time, the more consistent your stitches will be, and the nicer your blanket will be, or a scarf in this case. Little pull. Okay, I'm going to do a bunch of rows just like this. Keep going, and I'll catch up with you, or you catch up with me, all right? All right, Emma, at the last stitch on this end, don't forget, pull that one off, go right through the center, make yourself a new loop, drop that new loop back on the peg, give it a little pull. Now we're going to move our yarn to the other direction. Always want to work towards our yarn. It makes life a little easier. Same thing, pull this one back off the peg, restitch it. Drop that back on the peg, give it a little pull. Okay, so Emma, we have to decide how wide we want our scarf to be. And I think this is pretty good, to be honest, but you'll have to decide that for yourself. If you want to make it wider, just keep going another row or two, okay? But here's the thing, you got to make sure you have enough yarn left over to finish. So the way you're going to figure that out is you're going to take your yarn and spread it out, and you're going to put it out in 3 lengths of your loom. That's how you're going to know you have enough. So however long your scarf is, spread it out like this and like this. And then one more time, go back. And just make sure you have at least 3 lengths of your project. 1, 2, 3 in yarn left. That means that you definitely have enough left to finish your blanket, okay? So what we're going to do now is we're going to cast off of the loom. And it's basically the same stitch that we've been doing, only bigger. So we're going to come right back to here, right where our last stitch is, and do the same thing. We're going to pull it off the peg. We're going to follow through the back with our yarn. But instead of making this loop just big enough to go on the peg, we're actually going to make that loop about 3 or 4 fingers big, just like that. Then we're going to drop that back on the peg just to hold its place. Same thing with the next one. Take it off, go through, make this loop bigger, make it about 3 or 4 fingers big. Drop that back on the peg. Next one. About 3 or 4 fingers big. Drop that back on. We're going to do that with every peg, the whole length of our scarf. Off, 3 or 4 fingers big. Drop that back on the peg. This is how we finish our scarf. And in fact, this is how you would finish a blanket. This is all the exact same idea, the exact same stitches, the exact same process for making a blanket. And don't worry if it takes a few to get good at this, all right? Because it takes practice. Just like anything in life, it takes practice. You weren't born knowing how to make a blanket, so don't be hard on yourself. Just take your time. Watch this video a lot. Work alongside of it. Stop, pause, fast forward. Watch it again. Just take your time. You can see how all these loops are way bigger, right? Still a few to do. Three or 4 fingers in size. Drop that back on the peg. Grab the next one. Once you've done a few blankets with this stitch, you can start looking around for some different stitches. And then you can mix and match colors and stitches and stuff. But being winter, I think it'd be kind of cool if you made your own scarf right off the bat. It's a nice, fast project. Should only take a few hours kind of thing. Very satisfying because it doesn't take too long. All right, I'm down to the last 2. Down to the last 1. All right, now you can see that every single one of these loops is quite a bit bigger, right? Because we made sure they were all about 3 or 4 fingers in size. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the beginning. I'm going to go back to the beginning of our loom. All right, now this is where we started making the stitches bigger, right? So here's how we're going to get these off the loom and finish this up. We're going to take the first one and the second one. And I'm going to take the second one and I'm going to put it through the center of the first one. All right, so I'm going to take this one and I'm going to go right through the center of this one. I'm going to crisscross them, just like this. Now I'm going to take my second one and I'm going to bring it all the way over to the right. Now this next one, the third one, I'm going to take the third one off and I'm going to put it through the center of the second one. I'm going to crisscross them and then bring the third one across towards the fourth one. Take the fourth off, put it through the center of the third, crisscross them, and bring the fourth one across to the fifth one. You can see how we're starting to come off our loom here. Fifth one through the center of the fourth one, crisscross them, bring that one across to the next one. We're just going to keep doing that, peg by peg. Off, go through the center, crisscross, bring this one across to the next one. Through the center, crisscross, bring it to the right. Through the center, crisscross, bring it to the right. And you can see here, I'm starting to get this braid here that matches our beginning braid. We're going to do this for every peg. Through the center, crisscross, bring this one to the right. Take the next one off, go through the center, crisscross, bring this one to the right. Through the center, crisscross, bring this one to the right. Next one, off, through the center, crisscross, bring this one to the right. Off, through the center, crisscross, bring this one towards the right. Almost there. Off, through the center of the last one, crisscross them, bring the one in your left hand towards the right. And we're going to pick up the next one, off, through the center, crisscross, bring this one to the right. Last one, off, through the center, crisscross them, and now here's our last loop. Now what we're going to do with our last loop is we're going to take our scissors and we're going to cut our long piece of yarn. We just need a little bit, like maybe a few inches, like about this, okay? So we're going to cut this. Now I'm going to take this short piece of tail and I'm going to go right through the center of this loop. Right through the center. Pull it through. And what I'm going to do now is this is where I'm going to make my knot. So I'm going to take it and I'm just going to cinch it. Just start snugging it down. Just like that. Now this has got a knot right here. It's all knotted up. There we go. Perfect. Now, what do I do with this piece? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this little piece. And I'm actually going to hide it in the scarf, in the blanket. I'm going to take it and weave it through. Doesn't matter where because it's the same color. It'll just blend in. So I'm just going to weave it back and forth through the end here. Just like this. And see how that pretty much just hides in there? You can't even tell. All right. I'm going to poke it through one last time. And when I only have just a little bit like this left, just a tiny bit, here's where you're going to have to get Mom's help. So Mom, right inside here, there's a cord, kind of like the wick of a candle, okay? What we're going to do is we're going to take that wick and we're going to light it on fire. This is why it's a mom job, not an Emma Bean job. All right, this is a mom job. I'm going to light that on fire right there. It's just like a candle. And then we're going to extinguish that by burying it in our blanket to put the fire out. Just like that. Then we're going to hold it for 30 seconds or so that it fuses in there. Okay, perfect. Snug as a bug in a rug. All right, now remember, we still have that beginning tail over here, right? So we're actually going to do the exact same thing. We're going to take this tail and we're just going to give it a little snug to cinch it tighter. Now I'm going to take this, and these all come rounded at the ends. So we're just going to snip just a little bit off, just like that, so that it's nice and flat. I like to pull off all the extra fuzz. And again, you'll see that there's that pokey piece in there, that little cord. All right, so same idea. I'm just going to weave it through the blanket, or in this case, the scarf. I'm just going to kind of sew it through, wave it through. No one will even see it because it's all the same color. Just like that. Now again, once I've got just a little bit like this left, I like to flatten it out so I can feel the cord. And again, I'm going to light that cord on fire. Don't forget, Emma, this is a mom job, not an Emma Bean job. Now I'm going to extinguish that fire by putting it into the blanket, and I'm just going to hold it. You have to be careful because it's obviously hot. Just like that. I'm going to hold it for about 30 seconds. There we go. All right, there is our scarf. How about that? Built our very first scarf. Now you can always take these extra pieces here, the extra yarn, cut them to all the same length, just like this. Make a whole bunch of them. We'll give each loop a snip. Do the other end too. You can make these whatever length you like. You go longer if you want. And then let's go to each end and add some tassels. All right, so I'm just gonna make a loop like this. I'm gonna decide where I want this loop to go through. I'm gonna poke it through like this, and then I'm gonna take the two ends and put them through here like this, and then give it a pull. Let's get another one going. Fold it in half. Take this end here, feed it through the next spot. Just poke it through with your fingers. There we go. You can see I've got this loop here over my finger, right? I'm going to take my tassels and push them through the center of that loop. Just give them a pull, snug them up. There we go. I've got some tassels going. How about that? Fancy. How about that? Next Christmas you can make scarves for everyone you know. Everybody in your family will get a scarf for Christmas next year. I can just see it now. All made by Emma Bean. I got one more. Let's go back up to the top here. Put one more in somewhere. Where should we put it? There we go. Snug it up. Nice. There we go. Now I got my scarf done on this end. I'll complete the other end and I will have a scarf, brand new, made by me. So Emma, I hope this was helpful. Let me know if you need any extra help or if there's anything else I can help you with. Just take your time. Don't be too hard on yourself, all right? Because no one was born knowing how to do this. It does take some practice. Make sure you send me some pictures. I want to see how you've done, what you've made, what colors you've chosen. And keep me in the loop, okay? Thanks, Emma. Bye.